Are you out your mind?
He's averaging 32.
No,
See,
no, no,
we
no, no,
have
no, no, no,
perimeter
no, no,
shooters.
no,
We have
no,
Isaiah
no,
Joe.
no, no.
We
Hear
have
me,
Chet
hear me.
Holmgren.
Shade
We have
drop. Hold on.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Debates. I'm Ryan. We've got Dwayne. We've got Emmanuel. And today we are giving our picks for the NBA awards. The NBA season still has about 2-3 weeks left. So I guess things could change, but I think most of these awards, at least the finalists, are set. Just to clarify, these are not necessarily our predictions for who wins, but who we would pick to win if we were NBA writers and we had votes. This is who we're picking. So we might have different criteria. We might have guys that aren't even in the conversation right now that we think should win, and we'll explain it. And then we'll end with MVP, and hopefully we can spar a little bit there with the big Jokic and SGA debate. So we'll start with Rookie of the Year. And the rookie class this year is kind of underwhelming. There's good players, but not necessarily someone that has wowed us like some of the past Rookie of the Years. I mean, last year it was Wembanyama. So looking at the betting odds, Wemby's teammate Stephen Castle is the favorite at minus 800. Then it's Zachary Rissacher, if I say that right, Jalen Wells on Memphis, Zach Edey also on Memphis, and Alexander Sarr on Washington. Dwayne, I'll start with you. Who's your Rookie of the Year?
Castle by a mile. Though this is an underwhelming class, I do see him being at I'll say superstar level at some point, especially with the pairing of people with Fox and Wemby. With those guys, he has the potential to have his potential elevated and be a important role in the future for the Spurs and whatever team he plays on.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I know he's been offensively, sometimes lacking or inconsistent, I should say. But what do you expect? He's a rookie. Obviously, there are growing pains when coming from the NBA, from college. Stephon Castle, his offense is there, and I definitely see that it will definitely grow over the years. But really, right now, the reason I have him winning Rookie of the Year is probably because he's probably the best defensive rookie in the class right now.
Yeah, I agree. That kind of what put it over the edge for me. And he's probably the most valuable of the rookies too. Look at that Spurs team. Whereas him and Chris Paul as the point guards in the start, and then you bring over Fox, which maybe was going to limit Castle's playing time. Then Fox goes down, so he's kind of had to consistently be available all year for that team, and he's done a good job. He leads all rookies 14 points a game, so not insane, but not bad. There's only 4 rookies that average over 10 points a game, and he's in first with 14. Not a great 3-point shooter, 28.6%, but he is looking good. If you can average 14 while shooting that bad from 3, I think the assist numbers will go up over the years, especially playing with Wemby for the next decade. Yeah, underwhelming, but Stephen Castle, I think, has taken the lead here and will run away with it by the end. All right, Coach of the Year. It's Kenny Atkinson, the Cavs head coach. He is the favorite according to BetMGM, minus 1,400. Then you've got JB Bickerstaff of the Pistons. You've got JJ Redick. You've got Mark Daignault of the Thunder. Is that how it is? Yeah. Taylor Jenkins of the Grizzlies and Ime Udoka of the Rockets. So, Emmanuel, who's your Coach of the Year?
My Coach of the Year is Kenny Atkinson. So before this season, there were off-season rumors, whisperings about the dismantling and failure of the Cavaliers attempting to build a contender team. They have come into the season and shut everyone up with their performance. I mean, this is all thanks to Kenny Atkinson. He was able to adjust the offense so it brought out the ability of everyone, making the offense particular so that it was able to endorse the offensive capabilities or the particular abilities of Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, or Jared Allen, because I've seen those two been used interchangeably on the offense there. This team was a mystery before the season started, where they were expecting Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, who were butting heads. There was rumors saying that they can't work well together. One of them's got to go or something's got to happen. Then they come in, and then they're arguably the second best team in the NBA, because we all know who's number one. And, that's why he's my Coach of the Year.
I agree with you, and I wouldn't be mad if that were the case. But to me, I look at Pistons coach JB Bickerstaff, right? I look at that, and you look at the comparison last year, as a coach, that's hard. Like you're the worst team, the worst. I mean, bottom of the barrel, and then you get this team to at least the six, going from 14 to 39, 14 wins. Think about that. One of the worst we've ever seen to 39. I mean, as a coach, not only is that extremely hard to do because that season before is demoralizing. Now you look at it and you're like, well, yeah, it's a 6 seed, but we're by far not the worst team in the league or even in the East.
Just a quick question. How much is that you going to contribute to the coach and not the players just getting better over the season? Because they didn't really bring in any offseason acquisitions that would change this team this much.
Tobias Harris.
Shut up about Tobias Harris. That man robbed the Sixers. We all know this.
I think,
or maybe the Sixers robbed him.
An underrated thing about basketball that we might not always see is game plan. When I looked at some of the Pistons games in comparison to last year, their game plan is a lot different. It's not just last year; it was a lot just go to Cade, try to have Cade carry the team. This year, it's a little bit more spacious, and I mean that's a pickup in Malik Beasley's game. That's a pickup in Jalen Duren I believe when he was playing. I think he might be still injured. I'm not sure. That's a pickup in their game. Yes, won't deny that, but if they have a pickup in their game and their coach says, whatever, screw it, you have nothing. But if he notices that it's like, okay, option there, option there. I hope Kenny Atkinson wins it. I do like him, but we can't forget that what this Pistons coach has really done.
And my pick also goes to Bickerstaff. Anytime I see a team that wasn't in the playoffs and then makes the playoffs, you've got my consideration. And considering Tobias Harris was their biggest offseason acquisition, it's a young team. And while, yes, those guys definitely matured on the court, I think he's a big part of it. I also want to give some love to Udoka, the Rockets. Similar situation. I think they made even less offseason moves. Young team, and they've been right in that Western Conference all year. And he's definitely been a big part of that. Just want to throw that out there. What do you guys think of JJ Redick's case and the Lakers? Because there was a lot of conversation around him. Has he at least exceeded your expectations, him as a coach?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, JJ Redick came in here with this team, question mark. We knew they may not even make the playoffs, honestly, with that team they had. And you see them come in here, they're a contender. They're a real contender. And I hate to say this because they're in the West with the Thunder, and I'm kind of scared of the Lakers full healthy with Luka and LeBron. I'm kind of scared of them. So JJ Redick actually came onto that team, and he actually did his job, unlike Darvin Ham. He's helping these guys grow. I mean, you see Dalton Connect, Austin Reeves, and obviously you have a secondary head coach that's name is LeBron Raymond James on there that helps everyone out. But see, the thing is, JJ Redick also yells at the players and even at LeBron James himself. That's what a real coach does. He teaches his star players, or not teaches, he corrects his star players. He doesn't hold them in and just let them do whatever they do because they're star players. No, he holds them accountable. That's why I can see why he might be up there for the Coach of the Year award.
I don't see him up there for Coach of the Year, but improvement-wise, yes, he's improved this team significantly. If we look at just how they play as a team, what Darvin Ham would have done is like, all right, Luka, LeBron, do your thing, and just hands in pockets, right? What JJ is doing, as Emmanuel said, yelling, being active as a coach. That's what makes great coaches. Now, I can't say in consideration of Coach of the Year because of just how much has happened with the Lakers, how many changes. Is it change in record because of Luka, or is it because of the coaching? It's a whole bunch of things. So I can't really put that there yet.
Sixth man of the year. This is a fun award. Usually someone different every year, unless you're Lou Williams, who's the GOAT for sixth man. The favorite is Peyton Pritchard of the Celtics. Minus 275, then Malik Beasley, DeAndre Hunter, and Ty Jerome, both on the Cavs, as well as Naz Reid, who has won it before. Dwayne, who's your sixth man of the year?
I mean, you can't really have two sixth men of the year, but I have two picks here. One is Naz Reid. I mean, if Naz Reid is anything, Naz Reid is consistent. Not trying to cool shade here, but Naz Reid is consistent. Each and every year, we see Naz Reid up there. Why? Because he is he's kind of becoming that Lou Will, the depiction of a six man, but one that was not in the betting odds that I think we should still have had a reconsideration. And this is kind of an iffy one because sometimes he starts, sometimes he doesn't. Is Russ? Do you? I mean, do you? I mean, look at the significance of him on the court. If you even look at the last game where Jokic was out and Russ came in, he dropped a triple double against a fully healthy Warriors. He has significance coming off the bench for a plethora of reasons, a plethora of statistics to prove that. So even though Nas Reed is, the usual suspect, I can't look past Russ this year, especially where the Nuggets are because of it.
How would a Sixth Man of the Year award affect Russ's legacy? I feel like that would improve it. Show that he's
Absolutely.
versatile.
But for my Sixth Man of the Year, I have to go with Peyton Pritchard. I believe that it's an incredibly close race between everybody that's in there. I even think Nas Reed should be higher in the poll because those two are averaging almost the same exact stats, except Nas Reed is leading there when it comes to defensive, and Peyton Pritchard does have more minutes than Nas Reed. But I got to give it to Peyton Pritchard because of the offensive advantage he has over Nas Reed or the other players that are in here as well. However, Nas Reed, and I think it's a larger gap that he has offensively over these players than what Nas Reed has over Peyton Pritchard defensively. So that's why I see Peyton Pritchard. Also, just want to throw it out there, Russ, triple-double against the Warriors, sole reason they won.
Yeah, I'm also going Peyton Pritchard. When you're on a team like the Celtics, I mean, that's arguably the best starting five in the league right now. And to the ability to come out off the bench and make as much as an impact as the rest of those guys. I mean, this dude dropped 40 points on 10 threes and 10 rebounds against Portland earlier this month. Like, your sixth man's dropping 40 on 10 threes. And I know he doesn't do that every game, but I'm looking at the Celtics roster right now, and I'm looking at win shares, which is kind of self-explanatory estimate of the number of wins contributed by a player. Number one is Jason Tatum at 8.4. Number two is Peyton Pritchard at 7.6. So according to win shares, he is the second most valuable player on the second or third best team in the league, defending champions. So for me, that about does it. All those other guys have great cases, but when you can be that valuable to that good of a team, that's my sixth man. All right, most improved player. The favorite is Cade Cunningham, then Dyson Daniels, Christian Brown, Tyler Herro, and Evan Mobley. Kind of an interesting list there because a lot of those guys are kind of already established, especially Cade, Tyler Herro, Evan Mobley, but they definitely have improved. So, Emmanuel, give me your thoughts on your most improved player.
I think the most improved, literally, by definition, has to be Dyson Daniels. Literally every stat was better this year than last year, except for maybe his free throw shooting, which might have gotten worse, but that's okay. I mean, his ability has jumped up so high that he's in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year, and he can make a good argument for it as well. And you look at these other most improved players, you look at Cade Cunningham, yes, the Pistons are the 6th seed in the East, and they come up from 14th. But has Cade Cunningham's game really improved that much compared to last year? We already knew he was all-star level last year. What's changed now? He's an all-star? Okay, we knew he had that. We already knew that already. These other guys already had that potential. Actually, already had that skill last year. They just got slightly better. I feel like if we're going to look at most improved, we need to look at other people.
What I struggle with here is because Cade has improved assist-wise, rebound-wise, percentage-wise from the field. And maybe points. I think points is just only up like by -2, but his assists went up by 3. His rebounding went up by 2. His field goal percentage, I believe, is 20% better than last season. I'm not saying that he's my case necessarily, but there is a case for him. That's why. It's not just because of their record, but what he's done to make that record better. But for me, I have Evan Mobley. His offensive game isn't like tremendous for his size, but it's better than last year. And on top of that, his defense is slightly better than last year. The most improved case this year is a little bit finicky, and Dyson Daniels is a not terrible pick. I wouldn't be mad if he got it because it's very valid. for example, to become an even better all-star is hard to do, especially with no necessarily improvements to the rest of the core.
But see the question, the award is most improved. If you
Yes.
looked at everybody who's improved the most, it's Dyson Daniels. This man was averaging these, like he was averaging 5 points last year. He's averaging 14, and he's making the case for the defensive player of the year. How do you not
why?
get that? He's playing for the Hawks. Well, I mean, what his skills?
The Hawks, their whole just way they are positioned in general are dysfunctional. They're not a really good. They're not like they're not a train. They're not all parts are working together. They're not. It's not a shot on Dyson Daniels because obviously stats prove. If we look at statistics, that it proves that he is. But what I'm saying is they don't got a set thing to do, so it's kind of like anybody get the ball, and then you're scoring today. Here you go. It's kind of like one of them.
But you know see, what I'm saying? You have to have skill to be able to utilize the minutes you're given. So that's why
I'm not saying he don't got skill. That would be wrong for me to say. I'm not no NBA player. He got skill, no doubt. I'm just saying.
And plus, he was on the Pelicans last year. They were worse than what the they were worse than what the
the Pelicans organization is way, as we can see, way worse than the Hawks.
Exactly, and he went to the better. No, I say better. They're better. Slightly. They're definitely a better organization. They're definitely a better organization than the Pelicans. Are we looking at what the Pelicans look like now?
Yeah, sure.
He came from a horrible organization, getting barely any minutes, scoring maybe 6 points per game. Comes to Atlanta, drops almost 15 points a game. Making a very strong, getting 3 steals a game and making a very strong case for defensive player of the year. He has to be the most improved.
Okay, but here's my question. He had to fill a role that nobody was in for the Hawks. So, of course, he has to step up. Of course, he's going to get more minutes. Of course, that's going to happen. But the dudes that get the same amount of minutes as they did last season improve with no roster change at all. How are we going to deny that? That's my question. Dyson Daniels has a great point. But what I'm saying is here, how are we going to deny that the players that had no changes in their roster and improved in themselves and their team? It's not like they just themselves improved and their team still stayed bad. Their team improved along with them. How are we going to look at that and not say, oh, well, obviously I'm not denying that he shouldn't win it, but we cannot ignore Cade and Evan. We can't. That's absurd. That's absurd.
I'm not saying we ignore him, but I'm saying there's a clear-cut person here. Ryne, you can feel free to jump in at any time here. We got to acknowledge that Dyson Daniels is the best player here. DeJounte Murray was a role player for the Atlanta Hawks before Dyson Daniels came in. DeJounte Murray got kicked out. Well, basically traded and put to the. I'm sorry. You got something to say? Go ahead. I'll pause.
Please say that again. So, no, go back because you said
Dyson Daniels took in for the role of DeJounte Murray for the Hawks.
Are you out your mind?
How is that a bad take, Dyson Daniels? I'm not saying he's filling to the same role. I mean, to the exact same capabilities that DeJounte Murray did there, but he's taking on the role that DeJounte Murray was originally brought there for that did not pan out for them.
I hear what you're saying, but there's a slight thing that you're missing. That lack in scoring has to be filled.
He's averaging 15 points per game.
You're right now. It has to be filled. 15 is great. But what was Murray averaging? 22 that year. 22.
He's no. You got my point wrong. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'm not saying he needed to fill it to a T. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is that a role had to be filled. Like there was no other option. Nobody really, let's be for real, in that Hawks organization, even though DeAndre Hunter was there and they didn't do anything with him, which he could have stepped up, Dyson Daniels stood up. Roster change. That is a huge roster. Like, just come on. Dyson Daniels.
Roster change.
Hold on. Dyson Daniels.
He was averaging 5 points last year. That's not a huge roster change.
They lost. Okay.
They lost DeJounte Murray.
Yes, that's a huge roster change.
No, DeJounte Murray and Trae Young, they sucked together. They sucked.
Okay.
They brought in Dyson Daniels not for his offensive capabilities, but
Because
for his defense.
Yes, I do understand.
That's the whole problem of the Atlanta Hawks. Their defense sucked.
No. You're missing it. What I'm saying
you're saying that DeJounte Murray was the offensive point there, and that Dyson Daniels filled in the role for him when they could have had DeAndre Hunter, who would have stepped up, who's also an offensive player. He doesn't have that defensive levels that Dyson Daniels does.
Okay, yes, I understand that. But I'm saying it is a huge roster change from DeJounte Murray to Dyson Daniels offensively. So I'm not saying his defense is equal. I'm saying those 15 points is because of the void of DeJounte Murray. That's what that is. That's what I'm saying. I'm not denying that he's great. He's been doing great this season. And the points are because there is a lack of scoring. You miss out on DeJounte Murray. That is a lack of scoring. That I feel like that's pretty clear. I understand they got Trae Young. Trae Young but you can't rely just on Trae Young. He's going to get tired. I mean, like that's part of basketball.
Of course, but Trae Young is the majority of the scoring, and they have other players that can do, not obviously not to his level, but they can obviously step up as well. I mean, okay, this might be a little extreme, but you saw Clint Capella. He can still do what he needs to do
defensively,
even offensively. He's not okay. He's not the greatest center, but he's serviceable. He's serviceable, and when you see Trae Young
serviceable because of Trae Young, not serviceable because of Clint Capella. Those pick and roll lobs, that's not Clint Capella. That's Trae Young giving the ball to Clint Capella because Trae Young's getting doubled and he has no other option.
But I'm saying there's still people. But see, it's like Jokic, right? Jokic has this team. Jokic is getting double teamed. He passes us out. It's up to the players to make the shot or not, right?
I hear you. I'm here.
So I'm equating that same thing to the Hawks here. Trae Young gives up the ball. He's getting double teamed.
Jalen Johnson's their second highest scorer at 18.9. So almost a 20-point scorer. DeAndre Hunter was at 19. Dyson Daniels is actually their fourth best scorer actively. Karis LeVert is averaging more than him.
Hey, I'm okay with that when you're giving me 3 steals a game.
Yeah.
And probably the best perimeter defender in the game right now.
Out of the favorites, I picked Dyson Daniels. Cade, for me, it's like he was also a first overall pick, and now he's becoming the first overall pick that he was supposed to be. Like, he's just blossomed into the player he was supposed to be. While there's improvements, I like a guy that's like unexpected. And I was just looking, and I found a guy right now I want to throw out there. Norman Powell for most improved player.
He was making a very strong case at the beginning of the year as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. Yeah, I mean, he's also a huge contributor to why the Clippers are even.
That is a huge contributor. Above. And for a lot of these guys, like we're talking about Daniels, where, he just got more minutes. So obviously the stats are going to go up. Norman Powell, this is one of his higher minute totals. He's averaging 32 per game. But he has averaged 32 before when he was on Toronto and Portland, and he still wasn't scoring as much as he was now. I'd like to throw his name out there into consideration.
It's not
23 points per game, shooting 42 from 3.
In comparison to what though?
The past he averaged 32 points a game in 2022, averaged 19, and the year before averaged 18 and a half.
That's a huge jump.
Huge jump.
Huge jump.
Norman Powell, my guy.
Wow.
Well, I did not think our most heated debate was going to be most improved player. But that was
still not.
Still not. Yeah, exactly.
Just wait.
Defensive player of the year. Wembanyama was the obvious favorite. He's out now. So now it's open for grabs. Evan Mobley's the favorite. Then Draymond Green, Jaren Jackson Jr., Dyson Daniels, and then the rest. There's actually 3 OKC Warriors in like the top 10. You've got Dortz, you've got J-Dub, and you've got SGA, all kind of around the same there. They are the best defensive team, so it makes sense. Dwayne, who's your defensive player of the year?
I feel like it was more or less a competition between Wemby and Evan Mobley for a majority of the year, and then Wemby took just kind of, we were like, okay, nope, it's Wemby, and let's just take a step back. But then now, Wembanyama's not, unfortunately not playing, and now it's Evan Mobley.
I think this DPOY conversation here is really between who would you rather have here, a better wing defender or a better perimeter defender or an interior defender. Which one would you rather have? Evan Mobley, obviously his shot blocking and interior defense is what really pushes him over the edge here with his, long wingspan and the ability to block shots as well is incredible. And then you have Dyson Daniels here, who I was just talking about for the most improved player. That's also why I'm putting him in DPOY. He has a very good chance of winning here. I mean, 3 steals a game is incredible. I mean, and his nickname, I love it. The Great Barrier Thief. Love it. Love it. This is why I'm going to go. However, I do love Dyson Daniels. I'm going to agree with you here and go with Evan Mobley. I think the interior defense is what I really value the most. We see the Celtics out here who shoot 53s a game. And, if their shooting night's not good, I need to know my paint is secured. So that's why I'm going to give it to Evan Mobley.
You look like you cooked up something devious. I'm not going to lie. You just smirked.
So I put a lot of thought into this. I love a good defensive player. Love defense, right? So I like an all-around defender. Okay, so what I did, one of the NBA.com/stats, right? And we're cooking up some formulas here. So I filtered it to players that average at least 1 steal and 1 block a game. All right, I want you to do both. Okay, so that gives me 5 players to consider: Jared Allen, Jaren Jackson Jr., Derek White, Amen Thompson, and SGA. Okay, the leader in steals is SGA in that group. The leader in blocks is Jaren Jackson Jr. I was heavily considering Jaren Jackson Jr. I love him. He's won before. I wanted him. Next, I wanted to look at, do you clamp guys up? Okay, you can steal the ball. You can block the ball. I don't care how you do it. But overall, your job in basketball is to guard a player. Do they score on you? That's what I want to know. So I'm looking at opponent stats against the players. And an opponent field goal percentage. Players are shooting 43.4% when guarded by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh, my God.
Second best in the league. The only one ahead of him is his teammate Isaiah Joe. So SGA gets steals. SGA gets blocks. And simply, people do not score on him. 43.4% when you're guarded by SGA. That, for me, that's a defensive player of the year. And this is my formula moving forward for the rest of my life. You can quote me on this. That's my criteria. I need steals and blocks, and I need guys not scoring on you simply. So SGA, you get my defensive player of the year vote.
Okay, hold on. I got to break this down. First of all, I'm not saying Dyson Daniels, because Dyson Daniels has the worst out of Draymond, Evan Mobley, Jared Jackson, and himself. He has the worst rating out of 4. That's 1. 2, I even though that is such a great statistical standpoint, I promise you, people are not taking shots on Evan Mobley. They're just being smart enough as NBA players not to go up on. I mean, we got to consider that. Even people at the perimeter, they're not taking a shot on Evan Mobley. That brother, pause on this. That brother has length. I mean, his arms are long game. Like we're not taking shots up on Evan Mobley, because Evan Mobley is scary to take up shots on from the perimeter, from the midi, or from the paint, wherever you want to take it. So though that was a great breakdown, and I probably will use that in the future, because that is a great way to break that down. The one key aspect that you're missing there is, are the people even scared to take shots up on? And if people are scared to take up shots on you, you got to consider that you are possibly one of the best defensive players in the league.
Opponents have taken 84.8 field goal attempts on SGA, which is just outside the top 10. Also, looking at opponent box plus minus, negative 16.9 when guarded by SGA. That's tops in the league. So you're just not doing anything. You're not contributing to your team. You are a negative 16.9 contributor when SGA is on you.
Oh, this is going to be too easy for me.
I probably just helped Emmanuel's case.
Yes, you did. Like, you just
look, I'm not thinking about that. One question I do want to throw out there for Defensive Player of the Year, because I was looking at just kind of the trends overall. And it does seem that usually the winner comes from a top 5 defensive team. So I want to throw that out there. Does the talent of the defense that you're on at all come into play when you're thinking of a defensive player of the year? Because we look at the Thunder, by and large, the best defensive team. The Cavs are up there. Does that hurt the player if everyone on that team is good defender, or does that elevate them if they're the best on that team?
Yeah, I don't think it hurts.
I don't think it hurts at all. I mean, if you look in the case of SGA here, you got this team here, and their defensive scheme is, if one player on this team is slow, the defensive scheme for Oklahoma City is all about sliding your feet and being fast enough to recover and to block the passing lanes. So if SGA is slow, you now have it slow when you need somebody to recover and switch to your man. Ball gets shot over to a different teammate. He bangs a three because you were too slow to switch over. So I say it doesn't hurt you at all.
I don't think so. At the same time, I think here's the double-edged sword about it. I think it doesn't hurt you, but being on a team that isn't good defensively and you're really good defensively makes you better when it comes to that. Look at Wemby. I mean, look at that team. I think they dropped defensively because he got injured.
They were probably above. They definitely were above where they were.
Right now they're 25th.
Right. Yeah, they were definitely way above that. Maybe 10 spots higher.
Yeah. So I think you look at teams that are suck defensively and have a really good defender makes you better. But if you're on a good team, it shouldn't matter. And I don't think it does.
All right. It's time. Most valuable player. Maybe the most controversial decision in a while for MVP. SGA, Nikola Jokic. Can't deny that both of them are definitely deserving. You've got SGA, who is just torching the league offensively and defensively, as I mentioned, leading the league in scoring, averaging over 30 points a game on the best team in the league. Then you've got Nikola Jokic, who may very well be the first player to ever finish top 3 in points, rebounds, and assists per game. He's a generational talent. We know that Emmanuel supports SGA. Last time I checked, Dwayne, you're leaning Jokic. Right, still okay. So I want to just you guys state your case to the jury here. Why if you're trying to get more votes for your player, essentially, is what we're doing.
Let me because I wanna pose a question.
Okay.
Who is the best two-way player in the NBA right now?
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah. Just answer it. Say nothing else.
SGA.
Okay, Ryne.
SGA.
Okay. Here's some other people because I got notes for this. Here's some other people up there. Giannis, who is third in MVP. Cade Cunningham. And Jason Tatum. Now, we're not going to sit here and act like Giannis is not the best two-way player because of his defense. His defense is by far much better than anybody I just listed. That's one. We're not going to deny that. Okay. Now to the point of the MVP. This is a efficiency versus pure bucket and pure dominance. That's really what it is. And it's what you value more. And I'll sit here and be honest. I won't be mad if it goes either way. This is undeniably one of the greatest 2 seasons in parallel that we've seen from either of these dudes. You can't deny that. And it's wild to see. And that's what makes it so entertaining. But I value efficiency.
So, is that your case?
Not necessarily. let me. I value efficiency more. I value, you're not relying on external things for you to be as good as you are. Not making it sound like that does not make Shea good. To me, Jokic doesn't really, now I want to say rely. I don't know how to phrase it correctly, but if you look at the free throw line aspect, right? This is a valid point. So let's not knock it. When you take free throws out of consideration, Shea is still the top dog. That's right. Cool. But also when you take free throws out of consideration, Jokic is only 3 points less, where Shea is almost 10. That's an external part of the game where you get calls, you don't get calls. You flop for calls, you don't flop for calls. That's an external part of the game that sometimes you just can't control. As we've seen, Shea has gotten more of those calls. And that's not denying that I'll say this, 50% of the time, those calls are legitimate. Without a doubt. What he averages 8. So out of that, does he average 8 or 10 free throws?
8, not 10. Definitely
8?
not 10. Definitely not 10. It's 8.
8.9.
I'll say 4 of those attempts are legitimate. I'll say that 100% because he drives, he gets fouled. That's factual. But as we've seen him do, we've seen him flop, and quite often, and that's just the truth. Now it's part of the game, and because I know it will go and kill my head, it's part of the game, and he's using a part of the game that is smart, it's wise, but it's an external part of the game. At the same time, refs are giving you that call. And I mean, I can't see that. Like James Harden did the same thing. It's an external part of the game, and he got those calls. Joel Embiid does the same thing. And I don't want this to turn into a Jokic and Embiid thing where we give Jokic, not Jokic, we give SGA a award because voter fatigue. That's another thing. Like that goes around. We got to consider that. So among us, for me, it's efficiency. Jokic is efficient and one of the best 3-point shooters.
Oh my goodness.
In the league. Thank you. Top 3 in almost every statistic. And having the most historical, efficient season over Michael Jordan all time. So I want you to think about this.
Rest your case already.
No. This is my last point right here. This is my last point. If let's say Shea wins it, right? When we look back and see that Jokic had the best efficient season of all time over Michael Jordan when he won the MVP, we look back and Shea won it? Are we really going to say Shea won it? Are we really going to say that? I rest my case.
Okay. So, obviously, right here, let me just get this way before I start making my point. The MVP battle between the Continuance, SGA, the Joker, Jokic, is one for the history books. We all agree with that. Jokic is putting on a historical season, like Dwayne said, being a top 3 player in 5 different categories. While SGA is putting on a historical run on offense while keeping his team as the number 1 seed in the very competitive West. Now, my selection for MVP will be the Continuance, SGA. And I think he's a better player. Actually, I know he's a better player. SGA plays better defense. He's a better shooter. He's a better ball handler. He's a better defensive player. He's a better shot creator. I mean, the only thing Jokic does better is passing and rebounding, and one of those things is literally a requirement as a center. So, I don't see how he can be a more valuable player, which is linked to the skills you have and how you use them when SGA has better skills, better ways to use them. And let me address the free throws right quick. If you bring up that free throw conversation, I hope you fall down a flight of steps and catch yourself without doing any harm to yourself. But SGA's total free throw attempts right now is at 596 in the MVP. It might be a little more because he did play a couple of games and he missed a couple. Now let's compare that to other MVP seasons. You have 1999-2000 Shaq, who is literally getting intentionally fouled, who has a total of 972. Kevin Durant, 2013-2014, 805 with 9.9 will round up to 10 free throws attempted per game. The greatest MVP season of all time, Russell Westbrook, 10.4 attempts per game with 140. Then we have James Harden, obviously, who has one of the greatest MVPs as well. 2017-2018, 10.1 attempts per game with a total of 727. Now, each of these MVP seasons are considered one of the greatest of all time. Well, maybe not greatest of all time, but they're one of the greatest MVP seasons we've seen in recent history. And SGA has 596. These guys are all about 200 plus more while playing about the same amount of games. Not only that, But currently, right now, SGA has the highest drive rate out of any player in the game. Now let's pause and think about it. Are we saying SGA gets to the paint more? He drives more to the paint than Giannis Antetokounmpo? One of the men you see driving downhill and you scared? And you start praying to God that he doesn't run you over? We saying he has more driving? He drives to the paint at the highest rate out of any player? You know, and we wonder where the free throws come from, right? There you go. That's my answer.
Can't lie, you split with that one. So one of the main arguments is that SGA is on top seed OKC, and they've been the best team all year. And then you've got Jokic on the Nuggets, who have been bouncing around the 2-3 seed. Still championship contenders, in my opinion. So for you guys personally, does that come into consideration at all?
Yes,
this?
Absolutely. And here's why. When Jokic is not on the floor, their proficiency drops by negative 14. 14. Okay. And guess what? OKC, they stay exactly the same. If just look at it statistically, they stay exactly the same. That is so significant. Like when Jokic is out, and this is them being OKC, not being OKC, them beating what's the name? Them beating the Warriors was none short of a miracle. Like I don't even understand how that happened. Like this was 1 in a million times. But them without Jokic is just so much worse. Like we can't, and that was one of my points that I wanted to bring up. Like his efficiency is so good when he's not on the floor. They're one of the worst teams in the league. Wow, the no shots at OKC because they're a great team, but they don't even change. Like they stay exactly level or drop maybe a tiny bit offensively, but defensively they stay exactly the same.
Well, this can either help or hinder my case. Let's look at Oklahoma City last year. This team full of rookies. Nobody thought they could do anything. Nobody thought they would be the number 1 seed last year. And you know what the only thing they have in common from last year to this year that helps them be the number 1 seed? SGA. Last year, they were just a bunch of rookies. Most of them were as green as it gets out there. The only player that made them the number 1 seed last year and this year is SGA. He's the only reason they're the number 1 seed. Only reason. And we all agree that the West is the most competitive it's probably been in a while overall. Right? I mean, you got the Warriors, even though Curry did just go down. It's still very competitive. Warriors, Lakers, Nuggets, Rockets, Grizzlies, and there's probably a couple more I just can't get off of the top of my head. But I don't see how this can hurt your case when it's not like SGA was, like, before they became the number 1 seed, wasn't already, like, the Thunder, let's say the Thunder are the number 1 seed and SGA joins. And SGA is having an MVP season. I can see right then where it could hurt your case because they're already good. And sure, your performance is that level, but like they're already good. But the only reason OKC is even at this level is because of SGA. He was the foundation for this team. But I don't see how that hurts your case there. I mean, or do they? Is it SGA's fault that they built a good team around them?
It's not. That's the misconception. It's not that it's his fault. It's not, and we gotta understand that. Cool. But look at the offense. Look at the gameplay. Look at everything. They aren't necessarily centered around Shea all the time.
I completely disagree with that. SGA is the ability. It gives them the incredible ability offensively and defensively.
Okay.
Wait. Ho. Offensively, he's able to draw in double teams when he drives to the paint. He's able to draw them in, being able to shot that out. Jalen Williams, take away SGA from this equation, you put Jalen Williams in that equation. Do you think Jalen Williams can do the same? I think not. I love the dude, but he's inconsistent when we need him to be there for us. We've seen this so many times. He's not able to fill the role for SGA. SGA is Batman Jay Williams is Robin.
Okay.
Robin can't be Batman. He can be Nightwing. He can be all these other things. He can't be Batman.
Okay.
That's why Jalen. That's why without SGA there, this team is maybe a bottom play-in team.
Okay. Let me explain something, because maybe you're missing it, and I completely understand. When you look at the coaching plan, most time with OKC, it is centered around their entire offense, not just Shaq. They have great catch and shoot shooters. They have good defenders, great defenders, one of the best defensive team in the league. Their game plan is strategic. When you look at the Nuggets, their game plan is Jokic. It just is. Get it to Jokic. Let Jokic do what he does. That's pass, that's rebound, that's score. It's just that's the bottom line. The Nuggets have to go to Jokic or nothing will work. The OKC can and should go to Shaq, but they don't necessarily have to.
So you're saying the Nuggets can't get the ball to, let's say, Jamal Murray, Russell Westbrook, Michael Porter Jr. They have to give it to Jokic? Murray?
For them to start the offense, yes. Jamal Murray has no playmaking. Jamal Murray is a great player, but he has no playmaking.
What about Russ then? We saw he just had playmaking. Huh?
Russ is a terrible shooter.
I'm pretty sure we just saw Russell Westbrook
no.
by himself.
Don't look at the game. That's why I said don't look at the game. Look at the season. He's not a good shooter. Michael Porter, terrible playmaker, terrible defender.
We're just talking about offensively there. Offensively, no excuse. I disagree with Michael Porter Jr.
He's not a good playmaker.
Oh, bad playmaker. My bad.
Yeah, he's not. No. He's not a good playmaker at all. Who's playmaking on that team? Outside of Russ, who comes off the bench.
He's been starting recently.
There you go. Right? But guess what? They're still a bottom team, unfortunately. And that's just the truth. It's like the fact that they beat the Warriors is a miracle. No denying that. But if we sit here and we look at it, no doubt in my mind, you know what? I'm gonna stop.
All right, I guess I'll make my case. SGA is having an incredible season, as we all know. I like to look in the lens of other sports. Like the same thing's happening in baseball. I know you guys don't follow it, but there's a player named Shohei Ohtani who is a two-way player. He actually hasn't even pitched the last few years. He's just hit and he's still won MVP. But here's a guy where every single year, if he just pitches above average and hits above average, like you have to give him MVP. Because the fact that like it's historic and he always has the upper hand. When we were debating the NFL MVP, I went with Lamar Jackson just because of that historic season he was having in terms of throwing and rushing. I always have to lean historic. Like I have to lean historic. If the season ends today, 29, 12, and 10, like holy cow. Like, if you average a triple-double, I automatically give you MVP. I'm sorry. Unless it's, like, one of, like, a weird, like, you're averaging, like, 10 points. Like, I guess then I wouldn't give it to you. But if you have a 30-point triple-double at the end of the season, I want SGA to win an MVP. I really do. And it's kind of annoying that Jokic is just so freaking good every year. Just like it's annoying that Shohei Ohtani is so freaking good every year because I want other guys to win MVP for Pete's sake. You know, it's like, can we just have more people win?
Can I ask you something? So you said historic, right? Right? Historic. That's what we're going to talk about here. Mm-hmm. SGA has the longest streak of 20-point games. He has the highest efficiency rate from mid-range. I think he actually just passed Kobe Bryant, who was known for killing the mid-range. I mean, that's literally historic. The longest streak of 20-plus games.
Okay, so let me ask you this real quick, okay? Is the most efficient season all time by any player not historic?
I mean, it is historic, but we're just going to base it off of historic. These both seasons are historic.
Yeah, no denying that, but one's definitely more historic.
More historic is that no player has ever been top 3 in points, rebounds, and assists per game. He literally does it all at an elite level.
I disagree. He doesn't do it. Jokic is
You're delusional.
Wait, hold up. We just agreed SGA is the best two-way player.
I'm talking. Okay,
so he does
offensively,
everything.
Let me take it back. Let me take. I said off. I'll take it back. I'll say offensively.
Okay, so if we just said Jokic is the best, he's not even the best offensively. But we're just going to say we just said SGA is the best two-way player. You don't get more valuable than being elite offense and defense. You don't get more valuable.
Does SGA average 10 assists?
No.
That's part of the offense, isn't it?
And he's a point guard.
SGA is a point guard. And does not average, hold on. Does not average 10 assists. Who does? Trae Young. Okay, thank you. So then we have a case of a player being able to score because Trae Young averages 27 per game.
And lacks there defensively.
Hold on. You bring a good point defensively. I won't deny that. But at the same time, Jokic does average 10 rebounds. Sure, he's a center, 7 foot. Okay, granted. But we're talking about offensively, right?
Okay. Well, I was talking about overall.
Who's the better playmaker?
Okay, I'll give that to Jokic. I said he's better.
Who's the better 3-point shooter?
SGA.
How is that?
Because you don't leave a 3-pointer shooter open. That's like putting Draymond Green at the 3-point line, and he's the better shooter than Steph Curry. Steph Curry gets guarded at the 3-point line. You don't leave a 3-point shooter open. That's literally the first thing they'll teach you in high school, middle school, elementary. I don't care before you're born. I mean, come on. We all know you don't leave a 3-point shooter open. Jokic is taking these open threes because they don't trust him to make it consistently.
Jokic has taken contested threes and hit them. We've seen that throughout this entire season. Hold on.
I'm not saying he's incapable of making contested threes, but I'm saying they're most of the time leaving him open at the 3-point line because they know he can't make it consistently.
Why do you think that is? Hold on. Why do you think that is?
Why are they leaving him open?
Yes.
Because they know he can't make it consistently while he's open from 3.
Incorrect, because that stats prove that wrong. 1. 2. Here's what we want to consider.
You want to prove me the stats? Show me the stats.
I'm trying to find I brought those stats up into the chat one day. I'm trying to find
what does Jokic shoot from the 3-point line? That's all I'm asking.
Jokic shoots 41% from
3. 41%.
All right. And let's put this in consideration here.
On 4.6 attempts.
Let's put this in consideration here. What other parts of Jokic's game do people have to consider when they play the Nuggets?
What do you mean by that?
When we know Shea's going to drive. We know Shea's going to get admitted. We know that 100%. But when they play Jokic, what is it that they got to keep in mind to guard when playing Jokic?
Mid-range, and then the paint. And then
mid-range, paint. His passing, because they know that's elite. They know they can't double him, because then easy pass, corner, bang, boom, 3.
I disagree about the doubling part, because they do double him a lot.
Yes, and he's forced to either take up a contested shot or pass. And that's why he has 10 assists. Now, does Shea get double teamed?
Yeah. Why
doesn't he average 10?
Because the Oklahoma City offense is based around swinging the ball around.
Right.
So he double teams it, he throws to open man. Defense immediately rotates over to that man. Then the guy who got the ball from SGA swings it over.
I understand swing rotation. I understand that.
No. So that's why he doesn't have those inflated stats of assists there, is because they're swinging the ball around until they get to the shot that they really want to take. That's why he doesn't have those 10 assists.
And this is why I'm saying the game plan of the Nuggets is Jokic. Here's in consideration. You brought up a great point with swing offense. That's a valid point. Jokic makes sure they're in their spots. I want you to realize this. They're already sitting in. Perfect example. This is because I watched their game. Michael Porter Jr. was sitting in the most plays. Is sitting directly in that corner, same side as Jokic. Same side, 90% of the time. You want to know why? Because they double comes. Porter's already in position shot. That's what I'm saying. That offense is Jokic. And there is no other offense outside that. Even with the defense, name me a good defensive player outside of Russ, who, mind you, is not always consistent Give me another good defensive player on that team.
All right, give me a second. I'm gonna make sure I get everything right, so I'm gonna look on the roster right quick.
I can tell you now, we cannot consider Aaron Gordon.
And why can't we?
Because Aaron Gordon is not efficient defensively. He is not consistent defensively. He is not. The only two, there might be a third, because I remember watching the game and there was one guy that was playing really well, but he got hurt. Defensively wise, Jokic and Russ are the only two.
What about this boy Najee?
That's who it was. Thank you.
I was about to say, I'm looking at his stats here. I know in a couple of games there, obviously he doesn't get the minutes, but I see a game he got 3 steals, 1 block, 1 steal, 3 blocks,
right,
and then 2 blocks. So
that's because he doesn't play minutes. And I mean, we can't.
Yeah, but if you gave him minutes, I mean, shoot, might as well.
I mean, absolutely.
But see, then at that point, it's the fault of the coach for not giving him minutes.
I hear you, but at the same time, we're looking at what's going on. Not what could have happened, not what should have happened. What's going on? Jokic and Russ. Only two really, really we can see definitive good defenders.
Okay.
Offensively.
Wait. Jokic and Russ. Wait, we said we're only talking offensively, right?
No, defensively.
Jokic is not a good defender. I'm saying it now. Jokic is not a good defender. I would have barbecue chicken every time an offensive player sees Jokic out there. He's not fast enough to slide for the perimeter.
Ryan, if you could look this up for me. Outside of Joel, give me player centers that, mind you, are efficient against Jokic. Outside of Joel.
How to find that?
I mean,
wait, we're looking for players? Just players.
Versus.
Not position, players.
Position is difficult because if you put, for example, Giannis on SGA, we know
Giannis. And Embiid dropped like 50 on his head last year.
We can't deny Joel.
Wait, talking about against Giannis or who?
Oh, here's what I can do. I'm gonna go back to that one that I
3-point conversation. Oh.
Well, now
let me know when you find that stat.
Well, the 3-point conversation, I do have that up. So this is according to NBA.com. Closest defender distance range 2 to 4 feet is considered tight. So SGA is 14 for 46 from 3 when defenders are considered in tight coverage. Jokic is 5 for 20. I guess that shows that SGA has more contested shots, if that's what we were considering.
Okay.
That was a small part of it. We have the stats.
You're not going to be there's not going to be a 3-point shooter in the world that's going to be having those open shots that Jokic does. A good 3-point shooter. Because they don't leave you open. It's as simple as that.
They'll have to leave you open if you're effective from everywhere.
Curry never even got that. Curry is the most effective from almost everywhere during his MVP season, and they were on that man like.
Well, we can't. There's no way we can talk about.
Well, we're talking about 3-point shooters here. I mean, we look through the league. You got Trae Young. They're on that man all the time. You look at. I mean, we can go throughout the time. You can see Kevin Durant. They're on that man all the time. When he gets to that 3-point line, they're on the man. You see Anthony Edwards. They're on the man. Like these 3-point shooters, and they are on him.
I hear you, but at the same time, there's other parts of Jokic's game that they have to consider.
Okay, but that's not the point. We're talking about that. You said he's a better 3-point shooter.
Percentage-wise, yeah.
Not a 3-point.
Percentage.
The percentage is a lie. It's a lie. It's nice to look at, but there are other things to look at.
But yeah.
There are other things to look at besides the percentage. As we just saw, he takes more contested shots because he's getting guarded.
Question. There's other stuff to look at, right?
Yes.
Jokic leads in what? He's top 3 in what?
Top 3 in every stat?
Yeah.
Almost every stat?
Yeah.
Okay. He's not the better player, though. He's not the better player.
Oh.
Okay, right now. We're going to look at who's the better player. Who would you say is the better defensive player?
I'll give Shea.
Okay. Who's the better shot creator?
Shot creator or shot maker?
Shot creator. Who's able to create the best shots for for themselves?
For themselves and the team, or for themselves?
Either one.
Jokic.
Okay. So who's a better ball handler?
Shea. I feel like that's pretty obvious.
And I want to ask you here. I don't really agree with that shot creator. If we're going to look for who's better at creating their shots for themselves, yeah, I give you SGA by a horrible margin. I mean, like Oh my goodness, between the moon and the earth, there's a very large
You said
distance.
both. You said it doesn't matter. You said both. So
okay, but even then, I would still give it to SGA because because if we say so, let's combine that, right? Shot creating is not only creating shots for yourself, but also for your teammates.
Yeah.
I say SGA is so elite at creating shots for not only himself, but for his teammates as well, that it outpaces Jokic shot creating for himself. And I mean, obviously, Jokic shot creating is elite when it comes to for his teammates, right? Right? We're going to agree.
Yeah.
Okay. But see,
you can't drop 30, 20, and 20 if you aren't.
Okay, right. So Jokic shot creating for his teammates is elite. Jokic shot creating for himself, we'll put him at okay or good.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair enough? Okay. SGA shot creating for himself, elite. SGA shot creating for his teammates, almost equally the same as elite, if not a little less.
Is not nearly at the same level as Jokic. It's just not.
No, I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying that he's so much better at creating shots for himself, and he's already so good at creating shots for his teammates that those two categories, SGA outpaces him if you compare them together.
Absolutely not. Here's what we'll do. That's a one and one. All right, that's the cut even because I disagree. I think.
Well, we can ask Ryne here. He's here.
What?
He's so busy trying to do so much. I don't want to like.
I was trying to figure out the first thing Dwayne asked me about. Opponents have a -8 box plus minus against Jokic. If that's what you're looking for.
Just like any guy, like or
SGA was -12.3. That I can't find an efficiency stat on this, but that's
let me okay. If he's a better offensive player and he's a better defensive player,
he's not the better offensive player.
He's averaging 32.
Yo, he's averaging almost 30, a 30-point triple double, dog.
Actually, he's a better.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing you guys are misconstrued. Here's the thing you guys.
He's a better offensive player.
Here's the thing you got misconstrued.
Mid-range, anything
Scoring
else.
is not just the offense. Passing is part of the offense. Facilitating is a part of the offense.
Already went over the passing. He's an elite level passer. The reason he doesn't have these assists is because the offense is circulated around rotational passes. They catch it and they swing it. They keep going. This team is not full of ball hogs, bro. Come on.
I'm not saying that, but what you're missing.
But we see this with the Nuggets, though. Michael is literally Michael. I never pass the ball, Porter. You don't get more selfish than that. That's why Jokic has an assist. Jokic passes to Michael Porter Shooter. You're not getting the ball back. He's putting it up. That's why he has all these god darn assists, because this team doesn't rotate the ball.
I love it.
Why do you think that is? Because they're wide open.
So is OKC.
No.
We have perimeter shooters. We have Isaiah Jones.
No.
We have Chet Holmgren.
Hold on. Shea drives, and then there's two people. Jokic catches the ball, and there's already two people on him.
First off, SGA literally gets pressed as soon as he gets past that half court.
I didn't say you don't get pressed. That's not what I said. Press lead. Hold on. Even when you bring that up, press you because of Shea. Great dribbling.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He easily is able to break the press and get past the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say he gets past the guy. He's at half court. Nobody's in front of him at this point. Because guess what? He already broke the man back there. So this is whoever's in front of him is either in the painted area or at the 3-point line. Mm-hmm. If he's at the 3-point line, Shea goes past him, layup. We already know that, no doubt, cool. If that guy's at the 3-point line, not at the 3-point line, in the painted area or in the midi area, he has to key it out to the left or right. And that, guess what? They're open and they just don't shoot it. Because that's the offense they run.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, right? Why does Jokic get double teamed? Where does he get the ball at? Does he get it at the 3-point line? Let me answer that for you. No. Does he get it in the mid-range near the paint?
Yes, he does.
Yes. It's his most dangerous spot. You better double team him at that point. If you ain't double teaming Jokic when he's at the most dangerous spot, would you do the exact same to SGA when he gets into the mid-range? You double team those guys. That's why he gets double teamed as soon as he touches the
Let
ball.
me ask you
Look where
this,
he's
though.
catching it.
Let me ask you this: why do they double team? If he had, hold on, if he truly had the team had the offensive capabilities that you really think they had, right? Why would he get double? There's no reason for him to get double. That wouldn't make sense.
Because he's
right.
the greatest.
Hold on.
Okay.
Shea. There's a reason why Shea doesn't get doubled every possession because the people around him are still that good, and that's not on him. That's not on him. That's not on him. That's just a part of the game. What are you eating, dog?
He's enjoying this. But wait, hold up. SGA doesn't get the double team every time, bro. The lapse as a defense is forces him to double team as soon as he gets inside the arc. As soon as he's inside the arc,
that's if he doesn't flop on the fling his head back and act like he got shot first,
bro. I clearly know you didn't watch that video I sent you about SGA and his free throws because they talked about the way he drives. Most people drive, such as Anthony Edwards, in a linear straight path. SGA doesn't do that.
He goes at an angle, yes.
No. He doesn't only go at it. No. Not like a linear path, as in like a straight line, like Giannis, you would see him coming from half court and he just goes straight down. No. SGA, he does like sort of zigs left and right. So he'll drive in and then burst to the left. And by that time, as soon as he does that burst, the opponent hooks him so that because he blows by them, he hooks them to stop him from going forward. And when he feels that contact, he goes up and he sells the foul because it's there. Obviously, not 100% of the times. Of course, he does. He baits them sometimes, and sometimes he does flops. Obviously, everybody does. LeBron does. I mean, it's obvious. Every single player flops. There's not a player in the world that probably doesn't flop at least once or twice. But when you're getting these people and forcing them to foul you, and you want to make it official you want to make it seen to the refs, the best way to do that is to extravagate the foul. It's as simple as that.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think he does it a lot? Do you think he flops a lot? Like, do you think he flops at least 50% of the time?
No.
Okay, so then why is there?
Wait. Hold on. Wait. Let me ask you a quick question. Wait. Hold on. I just have a following question to clarify your answer, so I can clarify my answer. What would you call a flop? Just selling the foul? Like, where we just like if he does this, if somebody's hooking his arm and he goes up like this, are we gonna call it a flop?
That's a reasonable foul on the defense. If someone's hooking his arm, right?
Okay, but he's obviously selling the foul when he gets hooked because
No, I'm not saying that. But when he's not hooked, right?
Okay.
That's a flop.
Okay.
Wait.
When he gets hooked,
why is there a 15-minute video of Shea flops?
He plays.
Hold on.
How many games have we played this far?
Hold on. My fault. I'm wrong. It's 21 minutes.
How many? Okay, let me ask you this. If you have the highest driving rate in the NBA right now, you're telling me with the most unguardable player gets fouled almost every time he drives to the court, and he doesn't try to sell the foul. Let's look. Like, you can show a video.
That's an external part of the game. That's the point. The
external point of the game has been a part of every MVP caliber player's game.
Except from who?
What do you mean, except for who? I just
except
named
from Curry,
Kevin Durant,
and Jokic. No. Except
MJ,
from Curry,
LeBron. What are we talking about?
Curry and Jokic. Those are I've done my whole research on this. Curry and Jokic have some of the great. When Curry won that unanimous, right? When he won that unanimous, he was the lowest free throw shooter in MVP history.
Jokic or Curry? You said Curry has the lowest free throw shooting?
Yes.
He was a 3-point shooter. What are we talking about? We just saw the Celtics put 63s up and only get 12 fouls. What are we talking about here? Of course he has the lowest free throw percentage. He wasn't driving. Neither is Jokic. He's not a driver.
Jokic is already in the paint and getting smacked. Bro, we've seen Jokic's battle stars. What are you talking about?
A post player and a driving player are different.
Bro.
And driving are different. When you're getting guarded by the 3-point time, that's
Wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute. We've seen Jokic get literal blood and scratches, bro.
I'm not disagreeing that he gets fouled.
That's an external thing.
No,
Like,
bro.
he's not getting the call. That is external. When Shea gets it, that's external. You take that out of the game. Jokic is still averaging 28 points.
Bro, I think you need
But
to
hold on.
understand.
No. Jokic is averaging 28 off of not shooting free throws. But then Shea is averaging, he's averaging 26.
My friend. Okay. Look, right. Let me ask you this. Who would you expect more to get fouled? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar using his skyhook, because that's a post player, just like Jokic.
Dr. J.
Green.
Or would you or who would you think more? So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar using his skyhook, or Russell Westbrook during his MVP season with the Thunder?
Because Kareem, you have to foul Kareem or that shot is going in. So it's Kareem, 100%.
I completely disagree because he's posting up and he does this. There's no foul. There's no way
guy. Hold on. Yep, you have another guy come around and foul. You have to. There's no. Unless you just want him to score.
But see, the problem was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was so tall that he could just do it easily, even with double team people there. There's pictures of him doing it there. But I'm saying, when you're driving, you're putting more pressure on the defense because you're starting from the 3-point line. So that means they have to put on their best performance there to do it. That's why you see so many people when SGA drives by him, they have to hook him because he already blew by them. And if he doesn't hook him, he gets to the paint and that's a score. That's why there's fouls there, and he just extravagates the fouls.
No. Let's rephrase that. They don't hook him. He causes the hook. That's a totally different thing.
No.
They don't hook him.
They do hook him, bro. Let me find. Look. I want you to. Okay, look. YouTube account. I'm gonna go to my YouTube record. It's I believe it was like Imagine Thinking. I sent it in the group chat. But
I know what you're talking about.
It's like a total review of SGA's fouls, and it's unbiased. Thinking Basketball, is Shea a grifter or a god? And it's a 15-minute video of him breaking down what it is. Obviously, this guy doesn't glaze SGA, and he tells you that there are plenty of fouls, and there are times when he like just completely shouldn't have
plenty,
a call.
Right?
He goes over those
couple right?
calls. But what he does say is SGA, more times than not, are getting these legitimate fouls. It's because of the offensive presence that he's able to conduct when he's driving to the paint. Because he's zigzagging, sudden bursts of speed. It forces the defender to hook him. That's what it is. That's why he's getting to the foul so much. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to go back to my argument. SGA is a better player than Jokic. He's a better offense. He's a better defensive. The only thing Jokic does better than him is passing and rebounding.
Stats prove you wrong. So,
who would you rather have, a two-way player or just an offensive guy?
It's obvious that we're getting nowhere. Both of us are very one-sided. I don't think I am necessarily. I'm still okay if Shea wins it. I just, looking back, I don't see that you have the most efficient season, of all time, and you don't say that's an MVP season. That's just me. I look at efficiency.
Okay.
But I respect if Shea wins it 100%. No disrespect there.
Same thing here if Jokic wins it. Jokic, obviously, these guys are 1 and 2 for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
These are both historical seasons between the Continuance and the Joker. I'm still going to keep calling him the Continuous because I love that guy.
My pick is Jokic, but I expect SGA to win. I think he wins.
Wait, why is it Jokic?
What?
Why is it Jokic?
I'm not going into that.
No. Break it down.
I broke it down. I said historic season. I have to say this is the Shohei Ohtani argument. It's annoying, but it's facts. Closing statement. I asked ChatGPT, who would you pick, Jokic or SGA? And it picked Jokic. All right. Thank you for watching Sports Debates.
Wait.
We'll see you next time.